Okay. Oh.
Say, did you miss me?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm saying, turn that. So hold on. Let me see what you got going on.
We get started? Yeah. Let's go, baby. Okay.
This ought to be interesting, though. It is like interesting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But like where we left off, that was pretty good, though. That was good. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
Affirmations with the right intentions. It's got to be a manifestation,
You
regardless
gotta
of which way you go. You know
Yeah. Either way, those components
Yeah.
should be able to produce whatever reality that you're attempting to achieve.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. I think for us the problem is being able to get into that mind frame, stay focused, and then channel our energy in order to be able to, you know what I'm saying, harvest it really.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we'll get so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seemed accomplished to us, and we know we just got a few. How many things we done took apart and well, we don't need them parts together. We don't need that because it still works.
Mm-hmm.
We leave our screws. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how we do that. Yeah.
I was just talking to my son about that, right? I watched a joke. I had gave him some Legos, right? I was trying to assess his science, technology, engineering, mathematics, right? The man started working, but he didn't read the instructions. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't tripping, you know what I'm saying? We all do it, you know what I'm saying? We try to put together a bookshelf, someone read the instructions particularly, you know what I'm saying? But when we do that, then you look and you say, man, where did this screw go to?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What I needed this glue for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I supposed to use glue?
I'm supposed to use glue.
Yeah, but you got it up and got it working the way it need to work.
It look right.
Yeah.
It look right. You know what I'm saying? But it's missing them key components that give it the
Right.
ability to have the dexterity that it needs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it ain't really sturdy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, lack of structure.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, lack of structure.
What?
Yeah.
Lack of structure.
Yeah, we just flowing before we live too. Huh?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
live.
we live.
Okay,
And-
so yeah, we just flowing them. Yeah.
And you smooth sailing here for the mind some other people's business. Come on, let's go. Let's get it. Yo, you gotta come do the introduction. Welcome to the Blue Orb Conference.
Hey y'all. Had a customer tell me right quick. It's Nicole over at Blue Orb Goddess, and we are discussing from last week Tavares' little formula that he came up with, which was
Affirmations.
Plus intentions.
equals manifestations,
Alright.
right? But through that discussion, we were talking about communication and how to communicate this new you as you come out of the cave. Yes, I'm bugging him about that damn cave again. As you come out of the cave, or you come out of this isolation that you create for yourself in order for you to get to know yourself, right? How do you start to communicate to the people around you, the new you, and or how do you start communicating the needs of the new you? What is that? Leave. He didn't wrote down, leave my cave alone.
I said leave my cave all one. For
Right.
me, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So how do you start to communicate the changes, one, within yourself, and also if there are any changes that you're going to need with a loved one,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Love one.
Especially since, as we talked about last week, y'all sometimes don't communicate very well.
Yeah, this is true. But then, like we were saying last a couple of weeks ago when we had opportunity to be here, that communication is the two-way exchange of information across time and space.
Okay.
Right? And so when we look at those things relative to time, relative to space where we find ourselves, ensuring that we have the ability to communicate appropriately, right? It takes into consideration a particular set of skills that we may lack, right? We may lack understanding, we may lack compassion, we may lack comprehension, right? And so when those critical skills are not present, it inhibits our ability to communicate effectively. So while we in the cave, we might need to do some time to consider these things, consider how we communicate.
And I've also spoken with, and I've also worked with some people where as they're in the cave, they go see different people. They'll go see counselors, coaches, which we do here at the Blue Orbital Goddess.
Come on, hey, she got it.
See how I did that plug without
Yeah. Come on, now.
And identifying the things that you lack, or things that you need to work on during that process.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very critical, I think, during that time where you're getting to know yourself, is to get those extra skills that you need, so that as you're going through this process, it isn't just, you decided to go in a cave and be by yourself and nobody knows what's going on, and even you don't even know what's going on sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Would there be I guess this would be a plug for the future, self-discovery of yourself while you're in the cave?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and what it is that you
because that
need.
communication that you're going to be getting is going to make you look at your self-discovery, because that's going to expose the characteristics.
Right.
So what did you comprehend inside there? What is this going to be?
Yeah, and that's dope. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But that's dope, because when we think about the word communication, inside of the word communication is also communion.
Yeah. So
right?
that's a group.
Communion with self and
And yourself and your higher self,
Yep.
self and others, how you react,
Yeah.
how you relate. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
In the community, communication in the community of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Those 23 pairs of chromosomes that's matched together in order to be able to make us. I got to be able to understand how to communicate with those things in order to be able to give me the ability to communicate with your 23 pairs.
Learn to communicate with self, so that you can then communicate with others.
Our inability to communicate with ourselves is probably what drove us into the cave.
Could that be from knowing or not knowing? Because that can go to what?
Yeah, could that be from knowing or not knowing, or could that just be from I don't know. Could it just be even just from what the wounding and the way that you're raised and everything else that you just...
That could be a collective kind of...
It's definitely a slippery slope, because you think about... And I got this picture. I'm gonna show you. We can't show the crowd, but I'm gonna show you this picture, right? And this picture, it remind me of why I need to go into the cave sometime.
How you gonna show a picture and not show it to everybody? See,
because it ain't under everybody's business.
I've been zoomed in on it like this.
I can't show it to everybody, not because hell, if you want it, come to the Blue Orbital Goddess. Right, this is where we at with it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see this particular picture, but that picture right there, right? That's a picture of my family unit that I grew up with. Right now, as we sit there and we look at that picture, that is the most dysfunctional picture in my arsenal. Do it look it?
No,
it doesn't. Right, but there was so much dysfunction that was going on during this period of my life that as I sit back and I reflect when I'm in the cave, I was like, where did it all start? It started in that picture, right? In that picture, definitely. And you look at the ages of the individuals in that picture. I couldn't have been no older than 8 years old in that picture. You know what I'm saying? But that picture it was steeped in dysfunction, right? In the ability not to communicate, learning how not to communicate, and also learning how to communicate fallacy. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to communicate a fallacy. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Learning how to communicate a fallacy, right? Because in our community, you know what I'm saying, we have learned how to adopt a false identity, a false way of existing to our practical reality, and we communicate that message as if it were real.
And it's not even so much
we go for a couple of days, man. We back. Hold on, man.
And it's not even just in the family. It's also at work.
It's at work. It's
you know, you think about the mask that you put on just to fit in, even at work.
Yeah, so even at homework, everywhere we go, we do wear a mask.
Yeah, we wear masks, and that's why you know, throughout this process, I've been cautioning people against standing outside of that cave. Right? Because
you said standing outside of
the cave. Because as individuals, when you care for a person, you have an ability to see through the mask. Right? And so I'm seeing through it. Right? And so now what I gotta understand is that when I start to try to attack that thing that I'm seeing, because I want to bring out the thing that I know exists there, what it's gonna do is it's gonna trigger defense mechanisms. And I'll run you away because you aggravating something inside.
Because you're triggering.
You're triggering something.
And understand that
trigger,
because there is a piece of that. Like as you're going through this growth period, you're gonna have those triggers that are gonna trigger you, which is why then you go back in the cave to understand why those things triggered you.
Right.
Once you effectively can gain some understanding on why those things triggered you, then you can communicate to others about what that was, so that
Come
it
on.
then goes from an argument to a discussion.
Come on now, come on.
And that's a big difference.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Arguing and discussion is a very big
Correct.
It's very big. Because remember, communication, the two-way exchange of information across time and space. So now I just showed you a picture from a time
Yeah.
that I was 8 years old, right? That I was steeped in dysfunction. I'm 45 years old now. You see what I'm saying? What that is, I do that, I'm doing it with my fingers. That's 37 years, right? So I got to be able to communicate a message. The message that this little one wanted to speak at 8. He
Right,
couldn't
right.
speak it then,
Right.
right? So it took 37 years to get to a place where I could communicate across time and
Right.
space. I was in Miami, Florida, 19900 over 33rd Avenue. You see that? Hell, I'm in Clarksville now. Across time and space, communication. Right? So we got to be able to understand that when I'm dealing with this person, I ain't dealing with the person that I'm sitting here with right now. I'm dealing with the little girl who was from Illinois. You know?
Right. You're dealing with the after effects of the things that was never dealt with
Come on.
throughout the years. I mean, it could even been 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever that is that wasn't dealt with. Those are the things that as you're in the cave, you realize, and then you're able to communicate why you reacted a certain way, why you don't like certain things.
That is so
right.
deep, man.
This is why it become very important for you to get to know thyself.
Come on.
Through this process. And I never said I wasn't in agreement with you about people standing outside the damn cave. I was just saying,
Cause I ain't take it like that.
I'm just saying, ain't nobody standing outside the cave, but I think I'm in agreement with the understanding of you can't be waiting on someone to heal because you don't know if you're the very thing they need to heal from.
Come on.
Right.
And
the flip side of that also is they are probably the very thing that you need to heal from as well. And that whatever that was came together through dysfunction.
that's right. Season,
Right.
reason, lifetime.
And we
Right.
and we grew up years like from that picture, not knowing that we was dysfunction.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Wow.
Right. We thought that was normal.
Normal.
Yeah.
I thought that everybody's household was operating like how my household was operating.
Right.
So we really have to go within to expose our true self.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like you say, when we flash back from time into the space now, like that wasn't cool. You know what I mean?
And you also have to come to the realization that your experience and the way that you experience it, even the people that were with you during that time did not experience it the same.
That same way. Right.
Which is another healing part of yourself
Mm-hmm.
and family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So keep that thought.
Yeah. And so as she was talking, you know, what it made me realize is that during that period of time, during that cave period of time, because you might not be able to address everything. Right. So it may be necessary for us to prioritize the things that we have to address, because you may discover a whole bunch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you're in that period, you know, when you look back, I look over 37 years worth of stuff, man. Hey, a lot of stuff done transpired in 37 years, and if I'm trying to fix it all, I might need to prioritize what are those things that I need to address immediately.
What would be a good way to get that in order to line it up? Would it be like what's consistently coming, or do you pick and choose? Because like during our transit, when we moving, something always occurs more. You know what I mean? Is that self? Well, basically, it's gonna start with self anyway. But what's next after self? Is it to heal something with a family member? Is it to because, like you say, it's levels to this.
Yeah.
It's a lot of levels.
I think it's sometimes it's easy to go after low hanging fruit, but then sometimes you gotta prune a tree. You gotta be able to get after the big or the huge problem.
Yeah.
I guess it's determined by a person's level of strength, resilience, and preparedness to deal with a thing. Because you absolutely might not be prepared to deal with the thing that is most pressing. You know, it might create the greatest amount of grief. You know what I'm saying? You might have to work your way up. It just depends. Or for some individuals, be like, man, I'm just gonna go ahead and knock out this big one. I'm straight to the top. You know what I'm saying? And everything else will fall in line from there. I guess it's depending upon that individual, because you figure in 37 years, when I was in that picture, I didn't have children. You know what I'm saying? Now I have children. You know, I've had experiences. And so those individuals that I have produced as a result of my life experience, they are now a part of my cave experience too, because the people that I got to consider when I'm in the cave.
Right. Because like you said, it's like them too. You know what I mean?
Them
Even
too.
though just the way they comprehended it different or had to go through them phases differently, but like you said, that's them too. So you have to look at the whole concept of the cause and effect of each person that is in.
Yep. Then to include the women that I have experienced that now suffer some of the trauma that they've experienced from me as a result of being unrefined.
Which adds to their trauma.
Which adds to their trauma, which need to push them into a cave. And if you go to your cave and I go to my cave.
And that also goes the other way too.
Right, but I think that's part of COVID did do that. It helped and allowed because it pushed people together in a space where you couldn't really go place and things, and it afforded several things: people to get to know families again, and getting to know self, because there was limited things that you could do, so you actually had to start to do some self-discovery stuff, and a lot of people changed jobs. A lot of people, some relationships kind of went this way because they realized they probably should have done it anyways.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of self-discovery that happened during
I'm going to push back slightly,
okay.
right? The only reason why I'm going to push back is because sometimes, depending upon the system of operation that we're functioning with, right? COVID pushed us into a place where also, individuals started to live out of their imagination.
Boy, the right and wrong way.
Some of us emerge more self-aware, but some of us emerge batshit crazy.
It exposed.
It exacerbated all of that foolishness that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse, Tom and Jerry, Batman and Robin, Wonder Woman, you know what I'm saying? Running through these streets out here now, you know what I'm saying?
And they stopped, you know what I mean? And they still run. That's a good point, though, man, because we actually, it opened up two avenues, you know what I mean? That exposing of who you really are self or that badass crazy person. Man, it's a lot of badass crazy.
It's back crazy, man, listen. And I ain't mad at you, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we need you, you know what I'm saying? Hey, what would the world be without you? But, but if you are, crazy as all outdoors, embrace your crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's who you are. That's what makes you special. It might be your superpower. You know what I'm saying? And so understanding how you function and where you function best, you know what I'm saying, allows for you to have a great degree of success.
So you can still tap into self on that level.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So everybody taps into self. It's just what levels you are with self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to go fly a kite, when it's thunder and lightning, you know what I mean?
You might be Benjamin Franklin. You know what I'm saying? Thomas Edison. Whichever one of the jokers out there with that kite, you know what I'm saying?
But that communication is deep though, because we have to communicate. We have to communicate. I like how you broke it down, and it is a short version of community. So, like your picture, that was a community. And like you said, everybody had their dings to that. And
So with that being said, is there a point where, as we're learning to communicate collectively, like one to ourselves, being honest with ourselves, and then collectively, and you start noticing, like you're saying, the community within, then you communicate to them, but then where's the phase beyond that? So now you're going to communicate the changes that you have occurred within self, and then what are some of the changes that maybe you need others to do?
I think that'll be probably the key. I think that would be the key. Not necessarily communicating the changes that I've made.
Well, that has to be said as well.
Well, for what?
For what?
Because I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it.
So you're gonna show it.
I'm gonna show it because listen, as Sunshine Anderson said, I've heard it all before. You see what I'm saying?
That's a good song.
That's phone. Yeah. So I'm probably not going to do a whole bunch of talking. Okay. But when I cultivate my ability to communicate, it gives me the ability to share with others who are concerned about me the things that I require. You know what I'm saying? In order to be able to flourish and survive in the environment.
A lot of men do that through action. You know what I mean?
Show and not say.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd rather show than not say.
I'm much more comfortable with it. Yeah. Because if I get to talking, you know what I'm saying? I say one thing.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. One thing, I tell you one thing, and then you see me slide back a little bit, and I hear you running your mouth. Right. You know what I'm saying? Man, hey, there's not enough compassion, not enough empathy, you know what I'm saying? Not enough mercy amongst human beings
Yeah.
for individuals that are trying to change their condition.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just my
Cause it's gonna
opinion.
be slippage in that. You
So,
gonna
so,
Oh,
are,
yeah,
so
yeah.
are we ready to put a pin in this and that the next phase of this, as we're going through the communication part of that, is that we then, as we are showing the change that we have done, and that's through, part of it is communication and the other part is showing,
Mhm.
then how do we effectively show others, and I say others like the ones that we love, the ones that we don't care about, we're going to cut them off anyway, right?
Yeah, they'll cut
How
us
to
off.
effectively
Yeah,
communicate,
that's good. I think
because just
you-
because
you
we
want-
went in the cave, others haven't gone in the cave, but that's what I see our role is. As we continue to grow, then we teach others how to grow.
And so here I'm gonna write this down so I don't forget it because I'm keeping my book these days, and that should be how to set boundaries.
Bam!
How to set back.
How to set boundaries, y'all. That's what we're going to talk through next week, is how to set boundaries to make sure that you keep the changes and the progression that you've made through this process.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like I said, we see our role as helping others to grow as well, and also knowing when you need to just kick somebody to the curb, or are the people worth investing the time and energy?
That's right. That's right. I think that's it.
All right.
All right.
Thank y'all.
See y'all next time.
Have a good day.
Make checks or money orders payable to Blue Herbal Gardens.